Hey guys, this is Jay over at Firebrand Media, and today we're talking about event sound equipment. What is it, and how can a production company or videographer engage it? So, from a production company standpoint, event sound equipment is everything that is under the AV section or the audio video integration section, being that in conference centers or hotels or anywhere where you're shooting where there's an event happening, typically they'll have a booth, and that booth comes with a mixer. It could be behind a wall, or it could be in a closet, or be set out in the main open behind like a booth area. And typically the mixer will have hookups that go to the AV system or the audio video system of the house. They can have a projector along with an array of speakers that are either built into the conference center or the house, or be hanging. When a videographer of the production company, or let's say the production company, engages the AV of the house, what we're doing is we're trying to get a direct feed. And we do that by hooking up a field recorder to the AV booth or to an AV closet where the mixer is being held. What we do is we find a line out and jack into that mixer. That mixer will typically receive a signal from house microphones. So when you're at a conference center or you're having an event, and you're talking to the AV company that's running that event, or let's say you're talking to the venue and you're trying to find out if you have omnidirectional microphones, the ones that look like a little ball head, those omnidirectional microphones feed to the mixer, and then from the mixer, we pull that audio straight from the source. Now, these are wireless, but they can also be wired. And you'll find that there will be hookups in the floor on, let's say, traditional stages. The Texas Theater has a traditional stage where they'll have hookups on the stage. Anywhere where you'll see choir performances or band performances, or let's say dance performances, those theater spaces have hookups on the stage. But in general event settings, most hotels and event centers don't have hookups at the stage area or where the podium would be. If they do, that's a plus. But if they don't, the house will have to equip the speaker or the person on stage with wireless lavs or omnidirectional microphones. Now, with house audio, it's important to know that if there's a panel or a fireside chat happening on the stage, that you're going to get one signal. And if you want multiple signals, you're going to have to talk to AV and or the production company will have to talk to AV and find a solution to where you can have multiple channels of audio, specifically stacking those left and right channels of audio as different mics. And that's very helpful when we're blending in post-production and we have to selectively figure out who we're clipping for what reasons on screen. So let's say we're shooting a multicam speech presentation, or let's say a fireside chat with a moderator. The moderator would have a microphone, and the speakers on stage would all have their own microphones, or they'll pass a microphone. In that situation, people can easily talk over one another. If, let's say, the fireside chat gets excited by a topic and people want to interject and say what they want to say about the topic, having a clear split on a stereo line, being a left and right per the speaker, is very helpful. Now, let's say you don't have access as the production company with the house audio, or the AV booth, or let's say the closet of where the AV equipment's being held is behind lock and key, and the event center / house doesn't want to give access to the production company or videographer to the mixer. And that's justified, because a lot of people touch equipment, change equipment. They'll have to quickly get a contractor in there to reset, rebalance the mixer so that it doesn't blow the speakers on the stage or in the house. And what we generally do is pack a backup, being that having wireless lavaliers in your kit is super important, because you never know a day where the AV department's going to fail balancing the audio and it's peaking, being that the speaker's talking really loud into the mic and the technician in the AV booth just can't level that the gain, or they can't level the actual mixer, and so you have peaking or crunching sound to the audio in any way or fashion, that there's some kind of conflict with AV, or there's an interruption of service where the microphones lose contact or service with the receiver. You'll want to have your speaker, presenter, or panel mic'd up as the production company. So they'll have two mics. They'll have your mic on, and then they'll have the house mic or the house lav on. And that's a good safety feature to have. So it's good to go over that in the preliminary survey on site. Another tip and trick around technical specs surrounding events is knowing the sample rate of that audio. So you have 44 kilohertz, 48, and 96 kilohertz. That shouldn't matter much to the event planners, but that matters a great deal to anybody who's working with multicam production. So if, let's say, you've got multiple camera angles and you're sampling audio or recording audio, capturing audio, you want to make sure that sample rate is the same as the video sample rate. The reason why that's important is because we have something called slipping in post-production, where you'll have a timeline, a longer timeline of footage. If you marry that audio together with, let's say, a clap or a clapping board or some type of audio video cue from the speaker on stage, you'll find that the audio drifts. And when it drifts, it's not keeping up with the sample rate of the camera that it's interpolating for sound. And that's super important, knowing what sample rate you're capturing it in. We sample at 48 kilohertz, being that it's primarily used for video production. 96 kilohertz is associated with high fidelity audio, like hi-fi systems. We don't really use that. But having the systems not set in your field recorder when you jack into AV will cause so many issues for post-production, slowing down the process and, making a budget issue of the time used in post-production. If you have any questions about event sound equipment or want to know more about how a production company and or videographer can help you pre-plan those production elements, give us a call at Firebrand Media. We'd love to help you.